back. Today we are painting this beautiful lotus flowers. So let's begin. I have taken a pink color. I'm using acrylic shades by Fevicryl. It's a salmon pink color. I have added a lot of white to this because I want a very light shade of pink. So let's begin. I'm going to start with the topmost flower. I don't want a very transparent paint, so not added too much of water, just little bit to make my brush go smooth. You can use watercolors also. So it's up to you if you want to add on shades right now, or if you want this shade to dry up color and then add more colors to this. So I've used the pencil very light, so my pencil marks are not clearly visible, just need them for an idea. Nicely spread your color. Since I don't want water, otherwise my sheet will become little flowy and it will change shape, so I don't want that. It's a GSM 200 that I'm using. It's completely up to you which sheet you want to use. I'm using GSA 200. This is a good beginner friendly sheet. Good to practice. They have a little texture also on the sheet, so always use the rough edge side of the sheet. Just adding very little color to give it a defined look, how I want my leaf to be like. Now let's move on to the next one. So you can see this is the main leaf. I'm using a good thick coat of paint. I still want my lines to be visible, so when I add in a little shade, so I have a clear, markation. So this is my main petal. Now let's move on to the side ones. leave a little bit white space. Since I've used the pencil markations very light, I want my lines to be visible when I add a shade. So we have added a lot of white color to the salmon pink color. For the highlights, I'm going to use the salmon pink color directly and a few strokes of red. Now let's add a little more details to this. Just want my brush to slide. So this is my next one. Now let's move on to the third one. Let's get a good thick coat of paint. I'm using the salmon pink color. These are the colors by Fevicryl. So these are acrylic colors that I'm using. I have added a lot of white to my salmon pink. So you can see the original salmon pink color is very dark in shade. So I've added a lot of white to get my lighter tone. Now let's make some more leaves. So today we are focusing only on the lotus flowers, so not making any leaves for lotus flowers. So we'll do that separately. This we are focusing only on the lotus, how to give the best shading possible. So you can see I've kept a little bit white space in between, so I can add on shades to this. So I will always recommend to make good amount of color initially. It's okay if you waste some color, but getting this same color and shade again is little it's sometimes a task. Yes, don't waste any extra color, but yes, make it in enough quantity so that you don't have to create it again. So you can see a lot of white spaces in between, purposefully left them to add shades. Be careful, especially on the points. Now let's get back to the first one. Add another coat. Since the initial coat is dried up nicely, we need to give another quick coat on it. As an artist, I can see that my paper have become a little off shape because of the water that I've used in. So that's why it's always recommended to go for at least a GSM 300 sheet. It's a little more thick sheet. but this sheet is good for practice. Hi Rehana, thanks for writing in. Hope you like this lotus flowers. The moment they're just dried up, we're going to add a lot more shades to this to get the final look. So now I'm just randomly adding colors to this. So we can get us some space to add in the shades for our final look. You can use a little broad brush also, but I prefer this one for this. This is a round brush by Camlin. Now let's move on to the last one. This is the second coat of paint that you are giving in. Oh sure, you can watch a lot more paintings done by me for Madhubani art. So maybe in another 2-3 days I will be doing another online session. All my videos are saved on my YouTube channel and my Instagram account, so you can check out those videos. I hope they are helpful. Do let me know in the comment section if I was able to help you. If you need any personal help, you can DM me on Instagram and I would definitely give you some more tips. Whenever you are making a Madhubani art, always focus. Don't go off the pattern. Sometimes, in terms of adding our own creativity, it's always nice to go with the flow and keep the authentic art alive. So here we are. We'll just wait for another 2-3 minutes for this entire work to dry up before we add on the main highlight. For the highlight, I don't need a very thick coat of paint. I want it to be a little watery, so my brush can give nice strokes and I can get the desired pattern. We won't start from a very hard shade. Even in salmon pink, I'm going to just add a little bit water. So okay, now let's add some magic. Always use the tip of your brush. You need to give strokes from top to inside. again from top to inside. Similarly, some only in the center one. Let's focus. So I've not added too much of water, just enough to make my brush go smooth. I have used the same brush. This one is a different one. I've just added a little white also in my salmon pink to make it look all symmetrical. So you can see I'm just giving a very thin outline. So you can see I've left a little bit of white spaces in between. That was to add a shade. Here we are. So you can find the final picture on my Instagram account. Thank you so much for watching.